Hi, welcome to Manas Shield YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Chapter 4, Shattered Ambition. Everyone's Battle. Above the castle, even higher than Velzard and the others, standing in front of Feldway and Zalario, was Diablo. Evil demon who does not know your place, you dare to challenge us alone. Kufifufu. You told me to be prepared the next time I saw you, but are you going to entertain me today? Damn it. I don't have time to play with the likes of you. Zalario, I'll let you deal with him. Feldway avoided a fight with Diablo. Diablo was a troublesome demon. Knowing this well, he hesitated to deal with him. Feldway left the castle without saying a word. Diablo thought about interfering, but Zalario would not allow it. He was annoyed at being pushed around, and frankly speaking, he wanted to refuse. However, since it was an order from his immediate superior, he decided that he had no choice but to accept the situation. It can't be helped. Now that you have acquired the name Diablo, let's see how strong you've become. With that, the two sides went into battle. Zalario, though reluctant, was confident. He had just been incarnated, but his body was in good condition. It had been a long time since he had exerted himself to the fullest, but he wouldn't be broken down, and that lifted Zalario's spirits. Dark 8 palms. Zalario took the initiative. It was a very simple technique that involved putting magical energy into the palm of one's hand, but its power was immeasurable. 8 separate energy projectiles were flying towards Diablo. Worthless. So that's the extent of it. Diablo, on the other hand, muttered in a bored tone. It was not a strategy to stir up trouble, or to make himself look good, but his true feelings. When you are dealing with a lower-ranked opponent, or even a competitor, you have to be very careful about what you do. Diablo lightly evaded the projectiles and glared at Zalario. Are you just an amateur with a lot of power, wasting your energy? He asked this quite seriously. Zalario was annoyed by this, but kept his cool. This is why I hate this guy, he replied while hiding his anger. Shut up. That was nothing for me. In the first place, you and I are different in terms of the absolute amount of power we contain. You should worry more about yourself, not me. This was a fact. Zalario's conditions were now different from when he had invaded Ramras's labyrinth. Now that he had a physical body, he was able to fully exercise the power of his main body in the Palace of Monsters. With an existence value of over 20 million, he was confident that he would not be defeated even by a true dragon. There was no need to worry about wasting a bit of energy, as it would be quickly recovered. But only Diablo snickered. This is why amateurs are no good. In our fight, we must either annihilate our opponent with a single blow, or prepare for a long battle, you know. So, the basic rule is to focus on how to fight without being exhausted. If you can't even understand that, then Zalario, you've been slacking off, haven't you? Zalario was annoyed by Diablo's superior attitude. He put up with it if it was said after a loss, but the fight has only just begun. It might have been a tactic to disturb the opponent's mind, but Diablo was not aiming for that. He was sincerely and earnestly trying to give advice. The fact that Zalario understood this made him even more annoyed. Shut up. Your advice is none of my business, so just shut up. Even if you weren't worried, I've been fighting on the front lines against insectors, the natural enemies of demons. You should know that someone like you who has been living comfortably on the surface is no match for me now. That's very impressive. And don't worry. I too have fought to the death against Zigendono. Zigendono is also an insect-type insector, and a very strong one at that. Moreover, he has been given Remuer-Soma's cells, which are enviable, and has very few attackable parts. So, even for me, he is a difficult opponent to beat. The small number of attackable parts was a self-imposed rule that Diablo had set for himself. Diablo's own rule was that he would not target the parts made of Remuer's cells. Because of this rule, the 3 demon girls have also been unable to defeat Zigen. But that's another story. I don't know what you mean, but no matter how much I train on this stepping ground. And then, Zalario suddenly remembered. He hadn't heard the name Zigen before, but it was familiar to him. Zigen was the name of the person that Dino had declared as troublesome, and whom even Zalanis had expressed interest in. If he had been fighting to the death against someone like that instead of training. I see, it seems that this is no time to be playing around. And so, Zalario got serious. The battle between Diablo and Zalario was about to begin. In front of Rain and Mizari stood Pico and Gracia. It's cold. Rain's heart was already about to break. If she wasn't a demon, she would have run back to the fireplace by now. Rain was thinking about how to get out of this situation. Rain, you said earlier that you were going to get serious today, didn't you? So why do you look so unmotivated? That's a silly question, Mizari. It's because it's cold. Why should I have to fight in such cold weather, in a blizzard, against an opponent I don't even hate? When asked by Mizari, Rain blurted out her true feelings without any intention of hiding them. What are you talking about? Is what a dumbfounded Mizari wanted to say, but, surprisingly, someone else also agreed. It was Pico, who was supposed to be the enemy. Tell me about it. Why do I have to fight like this in a place like this, where I can't even see, from all this snow? In fact, Pico also looked very cold. So did Gracia, for that matter. Don't complain. I'm cold too. She was trying to calm Pico down, but it was obvious that she felt the same way. Rain and Mizari were wearing maid outfits, but Pico and Gracia were only wearing thin clothes. Gracia, for example, was wearing a bare shoulder outfit that made her feel cold just looking at it. Oh, perhaps I was the only one who was really trying to fight. Mizari was upset when she realized this shocking fact. Not caring about her, Rain and others began hitting it off and started spilling their complaints. I mean, Velzard-sama, she really shouldn't be blowing snow everywhere all of a sudden. Seriously, I agree. I mean, if she was going to do that, she should have told me in advance. Then I could have worn my favorite fur coat. That way I could brag about it, Pico said. Hold on, Pico, when did you find the time to buy that? Fufufu, just a little in between work. Ah, that's the city from last time. That place was a special hole in the wall. It was the Bloomin' Kingdom. As a city where the West meets the East, goods from all over the world had begun to gather there. Naturally, there was also an influx of many domestic monster products, and some of the clothing was of a very high quality. Pico and Gracia had been traveling around the world on a surveillance mission. They were Dino's companions, and seemed to be doing whatever they wanted. They had their own hideouts all over the world, and enjoyed the latest fashion. Rain looks at them with an alert gaze as they chat like this. It's fine to boast. But first, don't you have some work to do? Mizari was surprised to hear that. Oh, as expected of Rain. Was her earlier comment intended to catch them off guard? I didn't realize that she was aiming to take advantage of them like this. And so, in reconsideration of her colleague, she was quite impressed. With that in mind, Mizari waited for the signal to start fighting. However, what she heard next was a ridiculous proposal from Rain. Talking in a place like this is out of the question. Don't you think we should get out of the cold first? Indeed, that's exactly what she said, going at her own pace. The three others were surprised. The concept of enemy and ally had completely vanished, and only confusion remained. Rain didn't care. She quickly landed herself on the ground, and activated a certain spell. Strategic magic, freezing hell, Causidus. Hold on, Rain. That spell can destroy the city. Wait, that's pretty skillful. Mizari was so disappointed, but she wasn't wrong. Rain is the one who was weird. The freezing hell, Causidus, magic used by Rain, was a spell that froze a wide area. The range of the spell was based on the magic power of the magician, but if Rain was serious, it could cover a radius of 30 kilometers. It was an extremely dangerous magic, but what appeared in front of Mizari was a 3 square meter cube of ice. It was a waste of such an evil magic, but there was no damage. The result was a joke in a sense, that it gave the impression that she did it perfectly. So what do you think? Rain said smugly. And Pico grinned at her, as if he understanding the meaning. Gracia. Right, leave it to me. I know exactly what you're thinking. Gracia also understood what Rain was thinking. She wrote on that speculation and immediately prepared her spell. Icebreaker. This was another high-ranked elemental magic that could be used against enemies. It was a magic with outstanding killing power that froze the moisture in the air and then broke everything up. However, this time, Gracia manipulated it dexterously and only hollowed out the cube of ice. And thus, the ice igloo was completed on the spot. You did a good job. Yeah, you too. Rain and Gracia acknowledged each other, and a friendship was born. Come on, let's hurry and go inside. Pico was the first to go inside. Without any hesitation, Rain and Gracia followed. Mizari, who was left alone outside, was stunned and left muttering to herself. Rain. So, it wasn't a joker's strategy, you were being serious. But the one who should be answering was inside the igloo. Mizari began feeling like an idiot and hurried inside. So, the method was a secret, but we were given the honor of evolving at the hands of Rimuru-sama. This was the answer to Gracia's question. By the way, you guys have gotten stronger than when I last saw you, haven't you? You've been telling that much to the enemy. Okay, that's enough. Despite Mizari's dismay, Rain had also been getting information from Pico and the others. It seems that the skills of Dino and Pico were under the control of Michael. Pico has the ultimate skill Rigor King, Gibril, and Gracia has the ultimate skill Glory King, Haniel. Although they were not aware of it, they probably wouldn't be able to disobey Michael's orders. In addition, she had also been told the full extent of the enemy forces. The information given by Rain was not very important. It was only the fact that she mentioned Remuer's name without permission that was careless. But Rain judged that it was okay because she had not specifically been told not to talk about it. If Remuer heard this, he would be angry and would probably lament that he should have kept his mouth shut. In any case, in exchange for the information that she was able to evolve thanks to Remuer, Rain was able to get a very important story out of them. From there, they were just complaining to each other. They started talking about each other's hardships and complained about their bosses. Incidentally, the four of them worked together to build a fire and poured magic power into it to keep the room at a comfortable temperature. On top of that, the sweet potatoes that Rain had hidden in the fire were being roasted on skewers, giving off a faintly delicious aroma. At this point, Rain took out some sweet sake. This is perfect for when it's cold. You're not actually going to. Well, come now, Mizari-san, let's not be so formal. I think it's fine, don't you? You just want to drink, don't you, Gracia? Well, I want to as well, so I won't stop you. That's right, Mizari. After a fight, you're supposed to drink to make up. It's called common sense. When did we even fight? But there was no one other than Mizari to intervene here. With a 3 against 1, the odds were really against her, so Mizari had no choice but to give in. Thus, the inside of the igloo became like a women's club. As the battle outside raged on, the girls continued to quietly exchange opinions. Leon sat on his throne. The time of peace was over. With a loud bang, the front door was broken down. The great door leading to the audience room shattered into pieces, scattering debris like dust. And out of that dust, the intruder proudly emerged. Ho. Good day, everyone. My name is Footman. Footman, the angry hero of the moderate clown troupe. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. With his fat body and angry clown face, he exuded a certain air of strangeness. Leon had met this clown once before. He was now in remembrance of his own stupidity, a business partner with whom he had made a contract. He had felt a certain power when he met him before, but now it felt nothing like that. He felt an uncanny power. What bothered him, though, was Footman's true purpose. If he had wanted to capture Leon, it would be reckless for him to come alone. As I thought, the enemy's forces must have outnumbered ours. But I don't understand. What is he thinking? If he goes and helps the others, he would have the power to change the course of the war. As he pondered this, Leon left his seat. You come here alone and think you're going to make it out alive. Elris shouts. Claude keeps his hand on his sword, ready to protect Leon at any moment. Leon thinks. This Footman must have some other purpose, or... Just as he was wondering about that, a woman steps through the broken door and into the audience room. Ah, there you are, Demon Lord Leon. Do you remember me? It was a beautiful woman with a graceful appearance. She was dressed in a navy blue suit, like what a secretary would wear. Her skin was white and delicate, and her blonde hair was tied up in a chignon that suited her well-toned face. Her eyes, indigo with a mysterious glow, were fixed on Leon. Since I've changed my appearance, it's probably more accurate to say it's nice to meet you. I am Kigali. I'm the chairman of the moderate clown troupe. I've got a grudge against you for killing me, so I guess I'll have to deal with you myself. Needless to say, it was Kigali. She greeted him, while somewhat overacting. Then, 2 clowns followed Kigali, coming in one after the other. The girl with the teary-eyed mask was Tear. She was carrying a large sickle on her shoulder, and greeted everyone in a playful manner. I'm Tear. Tear, the teardrop of the moderate clown troupe. I hate sadness. All of Kigali-sama's enemies will be eliminated by me. When Tear declared as such, she began spinning her scythe dexterously, and moved to her place as if dancing. Stepping forward to take his place was Lapis, a man with an asymmetrical clown face that looked like he was playing a trick on someone. I'm Lapis the Wonder Hero, vice chairman of the moderate clown troupe. Now then, everyone. It sure is a beautiful day today, but I don't care about that. I was told to dash here, as fast as possible, and now I'm really tired. And it looks like we're in big trouble. I feel like I want to go home. It was very typical of Lapis to be complaining without saying hello. As soon as the clowns finished their speech, the last one showed up. A young boy wearing a black imperial military uniform with a fearless smile on his face. It was Yuki Kagurazaka, who was still under Michael's control. Hey, I guess I'm the last one. I hear my name is Yuki. You're Demon Lord Leon, aren't you? I think we've met before, but my memory's a little foggy. I'm sorry, but I'm not sure. There were different stages to Michael's domination. There were cases where the victim retained some of their free will, and cases where they were more restricted. In the case of control over the angelic skills, there was no fear of betrayal, so they were allowed to behave quite freely. However, Yuki was being controlled by the regalia, dominion, and was therefore restricted to a greater extent. In a sense, this was evidence that Michael acknowledged Yuki. If he had recognized Yuki as a lower rank, he would have allowed him to act freely like Kigali and the others. Anyway, the current Yuki was somewhat vague, and as soon as he finished introducing himself, he lost interest in Leon and the others, and stood there leaning against the door. Leon assessed the situation. There were 5 of them total, but each one of them was as strong as him. No, they seemed to have more strength than that. Since he was outnumbered, the situation had become the worst. Leon couldn't decide whether or not to make a move. He might be able to defeat at least one of them, but this was not the time to make a desperate attempt. If he couldn't win, he should run away, and he had the means to do so. But Leon was also at a loss, because he saw a light of reason, not madness, in Kigali's eyes. He had been told by Rimuru that Kigali was the demon lord Kazarium. He had almost forgotten about her, but he remembered clearly those eyes full of madness. Kigali would say that she had been jealous, but to Leon, it was a horrifying look. And yet, now, those eyes were as beautiful as a lapis lazuli. She's not a different person. So, there may be something else going on. And does that mean there's room for negotiation? In spite of the situation, Leon understood the circumstances of the other party. In front of such a Leon, the clowns continued their speeches. Demon Lord Leon, you are not only responsible for the destruction of Kazarium-sama, but also for the murder of our brother and friend, Clayman, the crazy clown. I won't make it easy for you. Because I'm angry. And with that, Footman bent his fat body in a dexterous bow. Laplace followed suit. Yeah, that's right. That idiot Clayman didn't become a demon lord because he wanted to. He was just the only one suited for it, so we sent him out as a replacement in case something happened to the chairman. I regret it so much that it turned out like that. His voice sounded sad, as if he was remembering Clayman. It's really sad, isn't it? The Kigali-sama gave us a chance for revenge. I'm going to give you the full force of our grudge, so stay with me until the end. Tira added sadly at the end. And then battle began. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.